Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for taking the time to learn about my poster. I'm excited to share this project that I do with my introductory environmental science students. And the goal really is to help students make personal connections, which with some things that can sometimes sort of feel pretty abstract. Many students come into the environmental science class with a sense that the issues we talk about, things like climate change, resource management, pollution, they're important, but they feel kind of distant to them. And so, to kind of help with the struggle and bridge that gap, I've come up with this semester long project around a personal trash audit. Um, the idea is pretty simple, but I've found it to be pretty impactful for students. They're going to track, weigh, and then reflect on how much waste they make in 1 week. But before we even get to that, we go on some field trips in the classroom, which makes it really fun. We go to places like first we visit the landfill, we visit the recycling center, we visit the county composting facility, and then we also are able to see the CHARM facility, which is the Center for Hard to Recycled Materials. And many students really have never given too much thought to where their trash ends up, right? You put it in a container and then it magically disappears, and you never have to see it again. This is certainly something that I feel really strongly about. This is kind of a way that we all contribute to environmental issues, and something that I think, it's not too difficult to think about how you can make some small changes in your life and make a really big impact surrounding that. So anyhow, so the students are, after we've made these field trips, they're going to collect their waste for a week. Obviously, anything that is hazardous, medical waste, cleaning your cat litter, picking up after your dog. We don't save that kind of waste. But the other things we do, and they bring it in and they weigh it, and then they're going to separate it into categories. So if it's an aluminum can, they're going to put it in the recycling area. If it is a banana peel, that is something that can be composted. So, and then they figure out what their daily average is. And then what I find to be kind of one of the most eye-opening steps, because oftentimes, especially college students, they're actually, so if you run through the drive-through of Chick-fil-A, which by the way, I almost never see somebody have a whole week of trash and there's no Chick-fil-A. There's always Chick-fil-A in it. But that really doesn't actually weigh all that much. It's kind of more behind the scenes. But even that small amount, if you multiply that by how many people are here in the United States, by how many people are here, population of the world, you really get an idea of how much trash that ends up being. And there's other things for students to think about. So maybe you don't make that much trash on an average day, but a moving day tends to be a lot of trash, especially for college students. Um, Christmas, of course, is a big day. There's just bigger holidays tend to be big trash days. And then students are, invited to really reflect on this. They put together a presentation. We have a lot of really great discussions about, ways that you can reduce that. Most of the time, when you put your things into the different categories, what really needs to go into the landfill is just a very tiny amount. And so when we think about diverting things away from the landfill, this is a great conversation starter, great for a lot of discussion. Something kind of fun for the students to share with their family and friends, as far as oh my gosh, I had to collect my trash for the week, and it's really been a rewarding experience watching the students kind of come to these conclusions and think about ways that they personally can impact and make a difference. So after we've had these conversations and discussion, they put together a presentation and share it with the class. And it really, the goal here is to just encourage this deeper level of learning, working towards mastery, and just understanding and being able to apply that knowledge that can kind of feel a little bit abstract when you're just, sitting in an environmental science class. Um, so anyhow, thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And if you have any questions or comments, I would definitely like to hear if you have any experience with something similar. So thanks again.